Hey, what's up, Climber Nation? Patrick here. This is going to be good. We're going to look at some basic Porta-Wrap stuff. We're going to look at sweating the rope to get all the slack out. And then we're going to look at locking off the rope on the Porta-Wrap, among other things. All right, stick around.
So yeah, like anytime we're rigging in a situation like this with a Porta-Wrap, you just got to keep the base of the tree clear so you have good access all around the Porta-Wrap.
And maybe this doesn't get tangled or something.
Yeah, because you're managing the rope and everything at the same time.
I'm working with Dave here.
If you let it run and you get caught on something.
Exactly. So I just wanted to show you a couple things here for the Porta-Wrap. So yeah, just how to get it tight. Right? I showed you this before, but we'll just go over it again. So first of all, the number one key for getting your rope tight is to start with your Porta-Wrap as low as possible, because that's going to give you more leverage.
Very true.
To really crank it. So of course you take a bite through and around the pin. Okay, so you take out all the slack like this, and then the next part is called like sweating or swigging a line. It comes from maritime, like working on ships, tall ships. So what you're going to do is pull all the way back like this, and then as you come in, you're pulling slack up.
Okay, so this is another look at it. So sweating the rope is a two-part technique. You're going to lean all the way back, use your body weight to pull laterally against the rope, and then as you come in, you pull up and take up that slack. That's called tailing the line. So it's a two-part technique, very important.
And each time you do it, you can get a little bit more until you really max it out.
Down a little bit.
Yeah, you're coming all the way out, so it allows you to use like your whole body weight to really pull, and then as you come up, you pull a bit of slack like that.
Okay, so another look at it from the side. You lean all the way back, and then as you come in, you can pull a little bit of extra slack out. All right, sweating the rope, very basic, fundamental technique.
So generally you do that 2 or 3 times, you can get a lot, like, a lot of the slack out. And then most of our rigging is like 1 wrap like that. If we're doing heavy wood, 2 wraps like that. And we're not generally using more than 2 wraps very often. Stuff like this will be 2 wraps. Catalpa's not very heavy.
But off or whatever, maybe like bigger.
Yeah, like I'll be doing, once I get this top down, I'll be taking all this wood down. So there'll be a couple big chunks there that we'll use 2 wraps for.
Okay.
So that's getting it tight. And then I wanted to show you how to lock it off as well, because that's what we're going to do for this next piece. I'm going to get you to lock it off. So same thing. I'm going to start getting it nice and tight. So to lock it off, you're just going to fill the bollard with wraps. This section here is called the bollard. It adds friction by taking wraps on the rope. So you're going to fill that with wraps, and then you're going to finish it off with a half hitch on each of these cleats. So I like to do the first half hitch on the bottom cleat, like that, and then the second half hitch on the top cleat. All right, and that's how you would tie off a rope for a boat on the side of a dock, right? It has cleats like that. Okay, so that's getting it nice and tight, and then
And if this thing's all the way hanging down, you'll still have a little bit of wiggle room this won't be too tight. You can unhook it.
Okay, so the reason that I went through all the trouble of really filling it with wraps is when this gets really loaded down, if let's say you only did like 2 or 3 wraps and then half hitches, you would have so much friction here that it would be very difficult to undo the half hitches to unlock it, right? The fact that I took all these wraps means that there's so much friction in these first 3, 4, 5 wraps that by the time you get back to here, even if you took a really hard load, you're going to be able to unload these hitches and then unlock it. That happened to me one time in a tree. My buddy took like 3 wraps and then locked it off, and we took a huge top, and it was just so much of a load he wasn't able to undo it. So
All right, I'm going to pause it there. So the story that I'm telling there was 2 trees, spruce trees beside each other. I was in the smaller one, but I was using the taller one to rig from. So, and I only had one guy on the ground, and I needed him to be able to run the tag line instead of handling the rigging line, because I needed to pull it in a certain direction, right? So I did this technique here. I tied off the top. Again, it's rigged to the other tree, which is above, so it's not like a pure shock load. I would never do this in a shock loading situation. So we tied it off, tensioned it, locked it off, and then I dropped the top, and it swung over into the other tree, into the rigging point. But because he had only used 3 wraps when he locked it off, it took him like 20 minutes to figure out to get the rope unlocked. And I was up there and I was freezing. It was like February. Anyway, so that's why you use the entire bollard, really fill it up with wraps, okay?
All right, so we're gonna start with that, and I'm gonna get you on the tag, and we'll just flop this small top over, and then once it's over in the direction that I want, then you can lower it. All right, cool.
Okay, so we're gonna look at a similar situation right here. Very similar to the story.
So yeah, just get back as far as you can in that direction.
The story I just told. Okay, this is a catalpa. I'm gonna explain it here, I think.
Okay, so this is our little top here. I only have one ground guy with me today, so that's why I put a tagline in the top, and that's why we tightened it up and we locked it off on the 40. So I'm gonna get him to pull it in the direction that I want, and it's just gonna hang there in the rigging. So it's a little bit of a shock load, but keep in mind, like the rigging point is above it, so we're able to take a lot of the slack out. So, and it's a small top, and it's catalpa, it doesn't weigh very much, so this is one situation where I wouldn't be worried about it.
I hope that makes sense, guys. Little tip for anyone who films tree work: I really recommend turning the audio down when you're using a chainsaw. This is what I did here. It's very noticeable, trust me. Oh, side cuts, you see these? I'm going to do a whole video on this at some point. Very important. There you go.
Good. Now you can lower it.
Nice. I think I'm going to talk to the camera here. There he is.
So yeah, like I say, we wouldn't normally do that. It's just I only have one ground guy, and I needed a tag in the top of that, so I had my rigging point above it. We took all the slack out, and then we locked it off, and then he was able to pull it over, and then it just hangs there. And now Dave can come in and unlock it, take those wraps off, and then he can lower it down. Cool.
All right, so one more time, I would never do that in a negative rigging situation. But anyway, hopefully this makes sense, guys. Hopefully you can get some value out of this. And I do plan on doing a bunch more like this. I think this is a great format for this kind of stuff. So listen, while I have you here, why don't we just go ahead and watch another one? What do you think? We can pick like this one, or we can watch this one, or this one, this one. What's it gonna be? Let's pick one. Let's do it. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching.